Did you know you can embed websites for students to collaborate on and manipulate in Pear Deck? Watch this video and I'll show you how to embed PhET simulations and Google Apps such as Docs, Slides, Sheets, Forms, and Maps. I so wish I would have known about this cool function in Pear Deck earlier. Up until now, I've been copying the URL address for YouTube videos and websites that I want students to visit from the Omnibox and pasting them into a website slide. Doing this allows students to click on the link, but it takes them outside of Pear Deck. While I was preparing a new professional development session, specifically on Pear Deck, I learned that you can embed these into a slide instead, thus keeping students inside of Pear Deck, where I can add my own instructions, written or audio, and have immersive reader to support students. When I do it this way, the Pear Deck slide is on the left side and the website or app is on the right, where students can click and interact with the activity. Let's begin by opening Google Slides and then opening the Pear Deck add-on. Add your slides. You'll want a different slide for each different website or app you want to embed. Format your individual slides with instructions and any other information you need for students to know. It might be watch this video and be prepared to talk about 2 things you learned, or collaborate with your partner on this Google Doc. Once you've finished formatting in the Pear Deck window, select the website slide. Then move to the website that you want to embed in Pear Deck. Depending on the tool you want to embed, you will either look for the Share button or the Embed button. Let's talk about embedding videos first. Usually in Google Slides, you can copy and paste the URL of a YouTube video and insert it into the slide. But this doesn't work for student paste mode, which only allows students to see an image of the video, but not actually control the video. So we need to embed it instead. Look for the Share button under the YouTube video and select Embed. This will bring up the HTML code. You will need to copy the part of the code that shows the URL address and is in between the quotes starting with HTTPS. Paste this URL address into the box on the Pear Deck window. To make it easier to see the exact section you need, you may want to paste this code into a text file or Google Doc and then delete the areas you don't need before copying and pasting into the Pear Deck window. You'll see a preview of the video come up when it's been added correctly. Then click Update Slide. This will embed the video. So when students are in student paste mode, they will now be able to see the video and click play or pause as needed. You can also do this from Edpuzzle or WeVideo too. In Edpuzzle, you will need to assign the video to your class first. Then click the Share Assignment button. On this window, you will see the embed code. Again, you will need to copy the part of the code that shows the URL address and is in between the quotes starting with HTTPS. Then come back to Pear Deck and paste. On the student side, the video will stop and pause at notes or questions, just like the website does. WeVideo is another popular tool, especially for making instructional videos. When you've finished and exported a video in WeVideo, go back to the Exports tab and find the video you were looking for. Now, you may or may not need to click on the lock icon under the video. This changes the privacy settings of the video. If the icon looks unlocked, the video is set to public and can be shared. If the icon looks locked, then you will need to click on it and click Yes to make the video public. These privacy settings may have been defaulted to one or the other by your WeVideo admin. Once the video is set to public, you can share or embed the video. Then click on the Share Link and Embed button. I will see the URL link, but I want the link that comes from the embed code. Then repeat the same process. You can do the same for a PhET simulation. Look for the embed button and again, copy the part of the code that shows the URL address and is in between the quotes starting with HTTPS. Paste into the Pear Deck window and click Update Slide. Then the simulation will be added to the slide and will allow for students to interact with it. The thing I find really cool about this feature is that I can embed many of Google's apps and students can interact with them as if they were in the app itself. Do you want students to collaborate together on a Google Doc or slideshow or spreadsheet? They can do it. Or do you want them to explore the area on a map or fill out a Google form? They can do that too. However, finding the embed code will be slightly different depending on which app you are using. For docs and slides, you will need to publish to the web to find the embed code. In either app, go to File, Publish to the Web, and select Embed. Then click on the button labeled Publish. Then click OK. The embed code will appear. In Google Sheets, you will also need to publish to the web. To find it, go to File, Share, Publish to the Web, and repeat the same process. For Google Maps, search for a destination and look for the Share button. Copy the link. This is a really long link, so that earlier trick I mentioned of pasting the link into another document and deleting the parts you don't need will come in handy. Paste just the part inside the quotes into the Pear Deck window. Now, for Google Forms, you won't be using the embed code. Instead, you will use the share link. Click the send button and then click the icon representing the URL link. Copy this and paste it into the Pear Deck window. I hope you enjoyed this quick tip and find Pear Deck to be just as cool as I do.